All right. Good evening. This is an in-person special meeting of the Board of Ed. Today is Tuesday, February 18th. It's 6:10. We're at City Hall in Conference Room 305. In attendance, I'm Jennifer Perez, Chair. We have Joseph Kolovic, Robert Traver, Andre Woodson, William Medina, Miss Christine Baxter Perez online, Lisa Casimir online. I didn't mention. We're gonna get started. The first item on the agenda is discussion of possible action on suspending bylaw 9270 for the purpose of selecting a new board member at the special meeting rather than the regular meeting.
Madam Chair,
Yes.
I move to suspend bylaw 9270 for the purpose of selecting a new board member at a special meeting rather than at a regular meeting.
Second, by Ms. Medina. Any debate on that? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Next item on the agenda is discussion and appointment of a candidate to fill the vacant Board of Education seat left by Dr. Tahila Bain. Do we have any nominations?
Madam Chair?
Yeah.
I'd like to nominate Nicole Nelson, vacant board seat left by Dr. Tahila Bain.
Okay. No.
Are there any other nominations? Ms. Baxter Perez?
I'd like to nominate Joanne Kennedy.
Nominated Joanne Kennedy, and Mr. Woodson second that. Any other nominations?
I'd like to nominate Briggs.
Mr. Chambers nominating Maritza. Jimenez. Any further nominations?
I'll second the nominations.
All right, so we'll go ahead and take votes. Yeah, just call one name at a time.
Yes, you're just starting in order of nominations.
All right, so the first one was Ms. Nicole Nelson. And I'll go down the line here. Okay.
Madam Chair, are you doing a roll call vote? Just want to understand what's the process happening right now.
Yeah, we're doing, sorry, I was just grabbing the roll call sheets. We're gonna do roll call vote for each.
And then can you just explain the process? Is it if, hypothetically, if I voted for Maritza and then Nicole's name came around, do I get to vote for candidates multiple times or one vote per candidate?
I was going to do, we could, I guess, talk about this before we do the vote, one name at a time. And maybe you can go yes, no.
I need,
First round.
wait,
Do you have recommendations?
clarification. What do you mean yes, no? So is it the highest vote getter of each go around, or is it each board member gets to choose their one candidate and whoever gets the most votes?
So the candidate needs 5 votes to, a minimum of 5 votes
And,
to be selected.
okay. And then just for my recollection, can you just point me where in our bylaws it states that?
Look it up.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Madam Chair,
Yes.
is it possible if we take a brief recess so you can find information, that way the public's not watching? or if it's something you're gonna get too
You want to
fast.
make a motion?
Yeah, I'll make the motion. I move that we go into a 5-minute recess so the board can get clarification as to the process for the election of a new board member.
I'll second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Aye.
Any abstentions? Ayes have it. All right, thank you. So we're back from the recess. Ms. Dr. Perez, to answer your question, the bylaw 9270 vacancy must be filled, will be filled by majority vote of all members of the Board of Education at the next regularly scheduled meeting. Within 30 days of the creation of vacancy.
Sorry, say that again?
So the vacancy will be filled by a majority vote of all members of the Board of Education.
Okay.
That was a bylaw 9270.
Gotcha. But
Any
I
other-
guess my question is more about the number of votes. And then is Mr. Benahan online or in person?
He's not here, but it's a majority of the board, so not the board present of the board. So that we have 8 of us. Did that answer your question?
No. I guess because in the past, it's either been 2 candidates And so this is a third candidate. And normally there's a majority for one of the two candidates, but with the three candidates, and this is how board votes have worked in the past, all board members, or let's just say 6 board members abstain from a vote. If the majority is 2 that vote in favor for something and 1 votes against it, then the 2 majority gets the decision. So that's where I'm confused, and that's why I'm looking for clarity, because we have 3 candidates. And so it,
It's so many elections.
One thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, my hands for us.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I wasn't asked ahead of time to consider this, so I'm doing it on the fly. But my reading is you've got to have 5 affirmative votes for the member in order for the member to be elected. The process you go through to get there isn't spelled out in the bylaws, but you can do 1 round where you get the votes. If nobody gets 5 votes, you can decide maybe a second round where people can vote more than one person. And you do that until you get 5 votes for one of your candidates. And if you don't tonight, do it at another time. If you don't do it in 30 days, then the mayor, as long as it's from the same party, gets to appoint.
That was, like Dugas, interpretation.
so I just want to understand, because we ran into this issue when it came to employee benefits. And so the voting wasn't done in that manner in the past.
Can you,
Elaborate, because I don't recall what example you're raising. Ms.
You weren't
Becky,
on board yet. This was an issue between the
You
former.
could still elaborate, you could still elaborate.
I am, if you wouldn't cut me off. This was an issue that was presented in front of the board at former board chair, Mr. Weldon, and there was an employee benefits issue. The majority of the board had abstained, and I believe it was only myself and Mr. Weldon that voted for the benefits to go through, and Mr. Sokolovic was the 1 no vote. And so there's been times in the past where it's 1 topic and you get 1 vote. And so that's why I was wondering, is it just if there's 9 of us, and obviously it's a clear 5-4 if it was, 2 people, but, or however the split is, but because there's 3 candidates, couldn't the majority be 4 people for 1 candidate and then split 3-2 for another one? There's no clarity as to that, and just because I know on another item, that's the way the voting occurred. That's why I'm asking if that's applicable now.
In this instance, it says a majority of the board.
I'm asking Mr.
And a
Dugan.
majority, I had the floor still after I asked you to elaborate, because the point I was making is that it's the majority of the board. And the example you're using is not applicable to this particular one. This is specific language in our bylaws that say that the decision will be made by a excuse me,
all right,
the majority of the board.
we're gonna ask Mr. Dugas.
Yeah, it clearly says the vacancy will be filled by a majority vote of all members of the board. There are 8 remaining members of the board, and therefore you need majority vote of those 8, which votes to elect somebody. The process by which you go through that, you can discuss. My suggestion is first vote for each of the candidate 1 by 1. If nobody gets 5 votes, then you can consider a different approach, including allowing people to vote multiple times for a second round until you get 5 people.
So thank you, Mr. Dugas. So with that, we don't have an official process to go through. So wouldn't it be worth discussing a potential process, even in the form of a ranked choice vote?
This is something that we can maybe refer out for future, creating a policy on it, but as of now that we're just here to fill the vacancy at this point.
So we're going through and filling the vacancy without having a process defined in our bylaws. I understand what Mr. Davis is saying. But we haven't defined it. And so,
We haven't defined it for previous vacancies in the past 2 years either.
yeah, but it's been used in other votes. And we never had 3 candidates.
Mr. Secalvin?
There is precedent on the board. Robert Traver was appointed for the board. The first round, he got 4 votes, and then there was another vote right afterwards that gave him the 5-vote majority, which was of our bylaw. And other votes as far as hiring and everybody else, there's no policy written other than a majority of the board's decisions carry. This particular bylaw is for this particular incidence, which overrides all the other bylaws. So the 5 members must vote for the board meeting. Doesn't matter how we get there, as long as we get there or not.
Madam Chair, I have a point of clarification regarding that. I chaired that meeting where Mr. Traber joined the board, and that was not the way the events occurred. Mr. Traber was the only nominee at that time in which the board voted, and he was elected 6-2.
First, he only had 4 votes.
Mr. Jurgens, you have something?
I'll get it later, put it on Facebook for you.
Okay. Did you ask me? Okay. I think we're gonna go with the process that Mr. Jurgens has recommended. So we'll go down the list. Ms. Nelson was recommended first. Then Ms. Kennedy and Ms. Jimenez. So we can do a roll call on each. Starting with Nicole Nelson.
Good evening, everyone. Christine Baptiste Paris,
No,
Keisha Casimir,
No.
Mr. William Medina,
Yes.
Mr. Joseph Sokoloff,
Yes,
Ms. Jennifer Paris, Mr. Robert Traver,
Yes.
Mr. Woodson.
No.
And myself, yes. 4 yes and 4 no. Vote Nicole. That's it.
Next one is Joanne Kennedy.
For Joanne Kennedy, Christine Baptiste Paris,
yes,
Mr. Keisha Casimir,
Yes.
Mr. William Medina.
No.
Ms. Jennifer Paris,
No.
Mr. Joseph Sokoloff,
no,
Mr. Robert Traver,
No.
Mr. Woodson,
Yes.
and myself, no. 5-3.
Four.
Okay.
3 and 5, 3 and 5.
Okay.
Next one is Maritza Estremera.
That's what I'm in.
I'm gonna get Estremera Jimenez. I don't have it in front of me, just for my friend, just for me.
For Marisa Estremera Jimenez, Christine Baptiste Paris,
pass,
Pass.
that's Takisha Casimir,
No.
Mr. William Medina, Jennifer Paris,
Yes.
Mr. Joseph Sokoloff,
no,
Mr. Robert Traver,
Yes.
Mr. Woodson,
Yes.
going back to Christine Baptiste Paris,
Mm. What's the current votes?
2 passes. Go ahead.
2 passes, yeah,
And what's the vote so far?
3.
3 what?
We got, 3 yes, 2 no, and 2 pass. I'm going back to you, Ms. Christine Baptiste Perez.
Pass.
Medina, myself, I vote yes. Christine Baptiste Perez,
I'm sorry, I didn't hear what Mr. Medina said.
Medina said no.
I'm sorry, Mr. Benningham, I'm not doing this to pick on you, but what's the votes?
Now we have
Just tell me how many
Four.
yes.
We have 4 yes and 3 no. And waiting for you now.
Yes.
Yes, I know.
Yeah,
Yes, he is.
I'm gonna repeat it again for my resettlement. Myself, I vote yes. Jennifer Perez vote yes. Mr. Trevor vote yes. And Mr. Woodson vote yes. Mr. Keisha Casimiro vote no. Mr. William Medina vote no. And Joseph Tucker vote no. So I'm waiting for your vote, Ms. Christine Baptiste Perez.
Mm, I don't know. Abstain.
Okay. Okay. So 4 yes, 3 no, 1 abstain.
Is there any further nominations? We'll go there. Ms. Baptiste Perez,
Oh,
are you,
can we redo the vote for the third candidate again?
Point of order, we can't redo the vote, the vote's already in the books, only person that who's on the prevailing side of the vote may reopen the vote, which is no
Aye.
prevailing side since there's no candidate. Let's go around again.
going around again? You choose. That's it. I have. I have.
Yeah.
Nicole Nelson,
Wait, oh, we're going in the same order?
same order.
Okay.
Well, for Nicole Nelson, Christine Baptiste Perez,
No,
myself, Benan, yes. Keisha Casimir,
No.
William Medina,
Yes.
Jennifer Perez,
No.
Joseph Sokole,
Yes,
Mr. Robert Traver,
Yes.
Mr. Woodson. Once again, we got 4-4 for Nicole Nelson. Now we're going for Joan Kennedy. Christine Baptiste Perez,
pass.
myself, Mr. Benahan, no. Keisha Casimir,
Yes.
Mr. William Medina, Jennifer Perez,
No.
Mr. Joseph Sokole,
no,
Mr. Robert Traver,
No.
Mr. Woodson.
Yes.
Go back to you, Ms. Christine Baptiste Perez.
Just a point of order. I can't hear Mr. Medina when he speaks into his microphone. How did he vote?
Mr. Medina vote no.
All right, I'll vote yes.
3, 5. Now for Ms. Maritza. Jimenez. Christine Baptiste Perez.
Pass.
Mr. Benahan, I vote yes. Lakeisha Casimir,
No.
Mr. William Medina, Jennifer Perez,
Yes.
Justin Sokolow,
No.
Mr. Robert Traver,
Yes.
Mr. Woodson,
Yes.
go back to you, Ms. Christine Baptiste Perez.
Already? And what's the votes? Sorry, Mr. Benahan.
Okay. I vote yes. Ms. Lakeisha vote no. Mr. William Medina vote no. Jennifer Perez vote yes. The Sokolow vote no. Robert Traver, yes. Mr. Woodson, yes.
Yes.
5-3.
So that was a Miss Jimenez. I get your thing. So sorry.
Mena Jimenez.
It's not in front of us. Um,
Don't we do this in a recess?
Mr. Matola. Or right now? Do we need a recess?
We can do it right here. Is Danielle Cripps here or Danielle? Danielle's here. You can go right here.
You want to do a motion for recess?
Let's
I'll
do
make
it
a
right
motion.
there. We can do it on the record.
Mr. Matola said we could do it on the record.
This hasn't been done on record in the past.
It doesn't matter. We can do it.
We can do
Don't worry about it. Prevent, we should do it publicly. Come on.
Yeah.
Congratulations. Do I bring it up here? Ceremony.
Family.
You're in. Then because they can't put it on record.
Where it's a structure, minutes, yes. Oh, I said it right. Yeah.
Your right hand.
Raise your hand. You, Maritza Estremera Jimenez, having been chosen as a board of the education member of the city of Bridgeport, do solemnly swear that you will faithfully and impartially execute the duties of said office according to your best skill and judgment, so help you God.
I did.
Yeah, the same.
Actually, she can vote and be some of the people.
Marks and president. Because that's my votes.
Yes. Wasn't sure.
Yes.
And then tomorrow we send a letter to the city clerk.
Yes.
All right, so we're gonna move on. Congratulations. And I thank all the candidates who did. Thank you all for, the interest that you have. I do appreciate that. It's not an easy time on the board, so I think it was very, I'm grateful that we had so many people interested in this. It was a hard decision. So the next item, we do have, an executive session for, discussion and update on pending claims. We have two, different items that need to go into executive session, so number 3 and 4. First one is, discussion and update on pending claims regarding both voiding of contracts not approved by the boards. If we go into executive session, Mr. Mottola from the city attorney's office and Mr. Dukas will join us. Dr. Avery will be invited to join us. Should we need them for this one. So is there a motion to go into executive session?
Motion to go into executive session for question and update of pending claims, voiding of contracts approved by the board, and possible approval of settlement authority for claims on contract with Hill, Bono, and James.
I know.
And is there a second? One at a time.
Madam Chair,
Yeah.
can you also maybe do it, but the next matter also involved the executive session, so.
So I read the
Why don't we do both right now? So we'll be.
that's how I read the motion.
Okay,
That's how I read the motion. You did.
the second matter, Dr. Avery will not be involved now, just being, just so everybody knows.
So late.
Is there was a second by Mr. Medina, all in favor? Any opposed?
Hi.
Miss Baptiste Perez and Mrs. Casper, let's executive session, you'll get the link.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Oh, wait. All right, 7:46, and I'm back from executive session. Is there a motion? Or
It'd be item 4.
I'm for
The approval of the settlement. And for the approval of settlement.
we're not doing it. Is this somebody else have? You have it or?
Yeah,
Yeah, go ahead.
I make a motion to grant board attorney, the attorneys the, I can even do it.
Authority, the authority.
And grant the board attorneys to the authority to settle the contracts as discussed in executive session.
Is there a second?
I second.
All right, moved by Mr. Sakalovic, seconded by Mr. Traver.
Roll call.
Roll call vote. Go ahead.
Christine Martin Perez, Keisha Casimir,
Yes.
Mr. William Medina,
Yes.
Jennifer Perez,
Yes.
Joseph Sagale,
I'm voting no with a brief explanation to be entered into the minutes as per bylaws. I do not believe that in these lean fiscal times, that the board should be settling contracts, especially contracts that the board has voted were invalid and unenforceable.
thank you. Mr. Robert Traver,
Voting yes with an explanation. I understand what Mr. Sakalovic is saying, but under the circumstances of where we're at, I think this is the appropriate action for the board to take. We're being fair to the employees who have entered these contracts in good faith.
Mr. Woodson,
Yes.
Ms. Maritza Estremera Jimenez,
Yes.
myself, I vote yes. And Christine Martin Perez,
I have a point of clarification. Only the no votes get to explain the reason and their logic. With that being said, my vote is yes.
a yes and 1 no.
Thank you. Thank you, attorney.
Thank you, Ray. Have a great night. Get home safe.
Okay, guys, good night.
Good night.
Have a good night, gentlemen.
The next item on the agenda is the discussion and agreements of dates. The full board is available to attend minimum of 6 training sessions. So just for background, board members, you received last night the proposed training schedule from CABE. CABE will be conducting trainings that the state has required of us. I'm on the wrong page. There we go. The start date for these trainings has to be by March 1st. So we have to have at least one training in a week and a half. Completed by July 1st. 100% participation from board members. Kay wants us to know, or this, the state, in talking with the state, this is not just seat time. We have to actually produce something with this training. So if we're talking about, one of the items like, working on bylaws, we have to make sure we're adopting that, and actually putting forth what we're learning in the trainings. Kate's proposing 6 trainings in this time period, so that could be, once a month for the next, once or twice a month for the next 5 months. And any additional sessions as needed, but 6, they believe can cover the trainings that the state has required. And if they see that we need additional, they might, recommend additional. Kate, in terms of like, if one of our trainings is going longer than normal, they might say, let's break this down and go further, but at minimum, it's gonna be 6 trainings. So the purpose of today's agenda item is to together come up with a time, a agreeable date and time for the next, like map it out for the next until July, basically. Days that were available, that we all can come in and do a training. They will be a maximum of 3 hours. That doesn't mean that they're gonna take the full 3 hours. And I think I covered everything, all the basic information, but I'll take questions just so that we can clarify everything. Joe, Mr. Politics, sorry.
No, worries. Yeah, I'm flexible as per date. Have we asked what happens if, say, we get into training number 3 and then we get another resignation?
I've not asked that.
Maybe we should.
I just know that no matter what, it's full participation of the board. So,
Like, I'm flexible as to time. I'll defer to the working people.
just for, we'll have to do a training next week to meet the March 1st deadline. And so if we have any dates available right now, if anybody, is there like an absolutely no, we're not doing a training on a certain day, like we can't do it,
I can't do Sunday mornings,
Sundays?
Sunday mornings, sorry,
I'm gonna be out of town starting the 28th.
Okay,
or how long?
For a few days, I'll be back on.
Although today is 9, I had to do that.
I know CAVE is, they know we usually meet during the week, so they're holding, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday for us, if they'll do either one of those dates.
Wednesdays, most of the committees.
I don't know if Thursday's available for folks. Are you any day? Or is there a day you can't do?
Sunday.
Sundays, though.
Madam Chair,
Yes,
I'm not available any Wednesday, Thursday, Friday.
Thursday, Friday.
The Wednesday, Thursday, Friday? Right. And,
Yep.
and
Yeah.
If it's a Wednesday, I need an online only option, but otherwise I can work around almost every other day, depends on what day it is.
is online an option for this maybe?
Yes.
I think so.
I will say, like, we always make an option. CAVE has recommended it be in person. And using online for extreme circumstances. So if you're gonna be away, yeah, like, we're not gonna obviously make you cancel a trip to come to a meeting, but their recommendation is that we do this in person. And, you know, the first few might not be able to, but going, like, since we're mapping stuff for 5.5 months, you know, the expectation is we try to do this in person.
And as you and I have discussed, I'm leaving town Tuesday
Mhm.
on a trip that was planned months ago. We'll be back the following Monday. So I will come on, I will join you online with the exception of 3 games. Well, I won't. On 6 spring training, so.
Is there
I have the
those
times.
dates that
I have
can we say we're not available? That would be good.
Well, I won't be available Friday night, the 28th. Be available Saturday afternoon, the 1st.
Okay.
And the other game is during the day on Thursday,
Okay.
Wednesday, but I assume you won't be doing it during the game. I'm available to join you online.
Are folks available Saturday morning,
Yes.
the 22nd?
Yes.
I'll make myself available.
I'm available
No,
Saturday
wait.
morning.
Definitely not
I'm sorry, go ahead, Christine.
Oh, this Saturday.
The other option is we cancel Monday's regular board meeting and have a special training then, because we have to have the training by March 1st. The regular board meeting will be held again another date. We just have to push business back.
Okay, that sounds good.
But that's not like, that's just, if you guys aren't available Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, or Saturday, that only leaves 3 days, or Sundays, that leaves 2 days.
I could do it the 22nd too.
But then there was somebody out of town on the 22nd.
On my Sunday,
I
yes,
believe Ms. Betsy Perez is out of town.
just a matter of clarification for my day. Sundays is Sunday mornings.
Mhm.
Okay, in the afternoons, evenings, on Sunday, that's fine. we can arrange for what, Sunday morning.
I think Sundays are off limits for a lot of people.
No problem, I want to make sure. that-
Can we clarify that?
What?
Did somebody say the 22nd was no good?
Yeah, Miss Betsy Perez says she's out of town this weekend.
Oh. So the 24th, or I was referring to the following Saturday, the 1st in the morning. I can.
Or we can just do it during a regular board meeting and you guys want a really long meeting, we have to talk about people in the master plan coming up this week. The contracts that need to be pushed through.
Why don't we just, move the regular board meeting,
21st.
adjourn the regular board meeting to Tuesday as a special. We're not mandated to have every single person here for the board meeting, as we are for the paid training. So if everybody's available already on Monday, I think that's probably our best option.
What were you saying about the 21st?
Yeah, that's a big meeting. That's, we're supposed to get the,
Oh, we are.
Yeah.
And Monday, where they're gonna discuss it, or the next board meeting.
What about the alternate Mondays that we don't have board meetings?
So that was gonna be my proposal for going forward. I just wanted to get the first meeting locked in before the first.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
So that's why this next week is kind of like when we'll all be there for, we have a meeting scheduled for Monday. I think we could put it in that place. And then going forward, if you guys are available alternate Mondays that we don't have a regular board meeting, I think that'll be a good option.
Yeah, I agree.
that. So we want to.
It's just Teams or Teams and YouTube.
This will be both. It'll be live for everybody. Yeah.
You want to knock in the first one right now? Let's do that.
So can we
Station.
confirm that Monday, the 24th, we can all be here for a meeting?
Yes.
Hey, point of clarification, Madam Chair, my internet went out, so I didn't hear what you just said.
So we're talking about the 24th having the meeting, since Monday we're already going to be meeting. And then pushing that out to pushing the regular items out to a special meeting later in the week. That way, since everybody was ready or available for Monday's meeting, we can do it then. Because that's the only other date.
Remote option for the training.
Yeah, there is gonna be a remote option. CABE is not recommending it. They would prefer that everybody come in person, sign in for attendance, and that was their preference. And there's, if this first one is not an option for people to be able to come in person, they're at least recommending that future meetings, since we're gonna be scheduling out in the future, that everybody makes themselves available to be here in person. But obviously for the next meeting, since it is not last minute, we can have time, but we can obviously offer that option. So the 24th will be the third.
Fine.
I don't know what normal time, 6:30.
It's gonna be on.
Good, yeah, I was gonna say, if can everybody get here a little earlier? I mean, I don't work, so I can get.
I think for a lot of people do work.
Right, is that their earliest everybody?
Yeah, they usually on Monday.
No worries. Trying to help the work, just. Check it.
It's not gonna go, it's probably be shorter than the regular work meeting, to be honest with you. It's not gonna go past 9:30. Nick is driving from Bloomfield, so I don't think he wants to drive home.
Nice. 6 to 9, block up that time.
Yeah, so we could do alternate Mondays. We meet the second and fourth usually. You want to do like the first or third, either one? Either Monday of.
Yeah, getting that.
Okay, so maybe the third Monday, that way.
March 17th.
March
It's religious holiday, but that's okay.
holidays out.
Can you have to? It's.
I'm thinking, what?
I'm actually offended. I'm just.
Maybe I'm fine.
Adjusting for the,
So
for the 17th?
third Monday, so we did March 17th. I'm still mapping them out right now, just so we have them. The third meeting would be.
That'd be the 31st.
Please.
Yeah, that's that 31st.
Yeah, we have an
I
extra
can't
Saturday.
do March 17th.
You can't do the 17th
No,
and the 31st, March 31st.
Consensus, 31st.
April 21st, we'll just keep going.
Wait,
You want to get
March 31st.
31st, yes?
Yes. Are we all available March 31st?
You're going, Mr. Woodson? Yeah, Woodson is good.
Ms. Casimir, Ms. Betsy Perez, does March
You said
31st work?
6, yeah, you said 6:30, right?
Yep,
Okay.
we work.
you have to wait. I have to check my trial schedule. If I have trial, I'm not going.
Like to have discussion of our child to see.
Try.
Try.
Oh, try. I thought.
Now, because I mean, we don't.
Are you checking it now? Sorry, that's a good question. Yes. Ms. Betsy Perez, are you checking your schedule now, or are you asking to hold off on?
Christine, you there?
Really got it.
We got Monday. off.
Yeah, I gotta wait till I get in the house and open up my work laptop to see what my schedule is. Because you're asking me a question while I'm trying to open up and check my calendar for the next few months, and I need to look at my trial list.
Okay. Are,
You said 31st. Maybe we're gonna try to hit what?
we're gonna just name some dates, but then we'll go back and edit as needed, so we're not waiting too long.
Yeah.
April, 21st would be the next third Monday. I'm just gonna map them out and then we can discuss. The next one after that would be May 19th.
I'm sorry, the April date was which one?
The 21st?
Oh. We don't have a regular board meeting that night?
That's the 28th, I believe. That's the second and,
14th and 28th
Yeah.
in April.
Oh, I don't know how I messed that up. Okay.
how is it the 14th if we're off that week? No, we're not having it on 14th. There's no board meeting on the 14th. There's a week off.
Oh, well,
But the
Right.
28th, the 28th is the meeting that month.
Oh, gotcha. Okay. I'll change that first and then, okay, and then we'll replace that with the other thing. Okay, got it.
21st, May, there's the, 19th. I'm just naming dates. We can go back and edit some, because I'm looking at it. We're probably gonna need to do 1 month. We have to do 2 meetings.
What was the May date? I'm sorry.
19.
Thank you.
Um, yeah, I mean, it's,
She gets 10 days from that.
Are you guys like, can we do 2 in May? If we did May 5th and May 19th? That way. you guys
Can't
only
make it
have
May
one.
5th. I'll be away.
Not May 5th?
Yeah,
Okay.
I'll be out of the country as well. Yeah.
So that's fine, May 19th. And then it's June. June's,
16.
I don't know what graduation, what we're doing for if there's a graduation that week, I don't. Not sure what the graduation date is. I'm gonna ask her
You need 6 by 1.
by July 1st. We may have to do double of someone's.
You got 5 Mondays in June.
Be away 1.5 weeks. Putting one board meeting till 3. Let's go back. Is there a month where we can do
What was the other month that had 5 Mondays?
March? But the 17th for somebody's away. Or,
It seemed like that anybody was really staunchly opposed to Saturdays.
oh yeah, it's Saturday. We could do a Saturday meeting as well. In which month would you like to be here on a Saturday?
At least one.
I say try to knock it out. So we got-
March,
Shut
yeah.
up.
Soccer starts tonight.
Say maybe March. Is there a Saturday in March that anybody's available?
Anyone?
You do early, like 9 to 12, because I know Miss Casper, you work, I believe, right?
Yes.
Yeah, the second would be the only day, the only Saturday in March that I cannot do, just as an FYI.
Which one?
Just a second.
Oh, I meant March 1st, March 1st.
March 1st, okay.
There is no second.
Oh.
That's why I was asking.
That's the March. 1st.
So the 8th or the 15th or
Can we
the
do the
22nd?
8th?
Yeah. Was that 9 or 9:30?
9, like you said you have to leave by 12, right?
Yes, I'm gonna be leaving at noon. Yeah.
Yeah, so let's do 9, that way it ends by 12, you know? All right, so here's what I have, and, we can discuss further. The first one would be the 24th. The second, March 24th, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, rewind. The first one will be February 24th. Second one, March 8th, which is a Saturday. Third, March 31st is a Monday. We're still waiting on March dates, so confirmation. Fourth training would be April 21st. Fifth training will be May 19th. Sixth training tentatively scheduled for June 9th. They're all tentative, I guess, but
March 8th, we added Willie. Saturday, March 8th, 9 to 12.
9 to 12?
yeah.
I'm sorry, did you say June 9th?
I put tentative because I don't know what day in June yet.
Oh, I definitely won't be there.
Okay,
It's my Cornell reunion, so I'm
Alright.
not gonna be there.
so, this. Not sure what the high school graduation looks. Do you know if we have that scheduled yet? If we do,
I think
we're
that's
leaving for training,
Don't snow days and things like that, can't that affect that?
probably. The other option for June would be the 16th. You think it's one of those days? The June 16th work?
Yeah. That works for me.
I still haven't gotten to my computer, but I know the wedding I have to go to in May. I know my out of state travel, and I know my reunion. When you send the dates, I'll just follow up via email.
Okay. You want me to repeat
What-
them or?
What was the February date again?
That'll be next Monday, so 24th.
Oh, it's gonna be next month. Okay, got it. Thanks.
Then we have the second training would be the 8th, Saturday, March 8th.
Can we confirm all the dates?
Right.
That's a good idea. So the recommendation is that we'll list the dates today. I'll follow up with an email to everybody, like right now. I'll just send it. And then on Monday, we can confirm the rest of the dates, the Monday coming up. That for the first training. That way it gives everybody time to really look at the calendars and we can make adjustments we can.
Yeah, because I have 50th reading.
I don't believe that.
You was in politics.
I was not the living.
Me? All right, so we could, we're all set on February 24th, 6:30. How about that? And then the other dates,
On these dates.
we'll confirm on Monday the rest of the dates. So we'll keep this in mind. Gonna shoot an email to you guys. The dates, and then on Monday, we'll have time to discuss the rest of the dates. That way,
Gonna check.
Yeah. Cave said that they're gonna be flexible with us, so that there'll be somebody here to train us. Okay. With me. Action of morning?
No.
Not gonna move on today.
Discussion of agreements. Agreements.
So should we make an act to, I know the 24th for the first.
He did it.
No, you don't need it.
All right. Can we get verbal confirmation for everybody that they'll be here next Monday,
Yes.
the
Yes.
24th,
Yes.
God willing? Yes.
Amen. That's right. Sorry. You're good to pick. The
That's it, right? If he wants you to. Anyways, are we good? Can we move on then?
Yeah.
Everybody in agreement? All right, 24, 6:30. See you there. Maybe I'll bring pizza for dinner. Ready? I like Little Caesars. I don't. All right, item number six, discussion and possible engagement of utilizing the guaranteed services pursuant to the terms of the prior agreement with McPherson and Jacobson LLC to secure a permanent superintendent. So this item, we had agreed to start a search, to begin our search committee a few meetings back. We have a agreement with the previous search firm. And that agreement was that if the superintendent that we voted on with them didn't work out in the first 2 years, that they would at no charge offer their services again. So the only charges that would include, I know you've got me if I'm missing something, but background checks, video interviews, and
I think they said that last time they did a lot of things virtual, you met with them virtually. So if you required them to come here to meet and stuff.
So aside from that, we'll be using the same firm at no additional cost because it's in the contract that they would offer their services to us again. And I just wanted everybody to know that way we can discuss if that's how we want to go, or do we want to spend money and which I don't recommend in our current climate. And use another firm, but since this is offered already for free and we can get on, get that ball rolling and begin that search. Any discussion on that? I mean, motion.
Move that we utilize the guaranteed services pursuant to the terms of the prior agreement with McPherson and Jacobson LLC to secure a permanent superintendent.
Okay, it's been moved by Mr. Kolovik, seconded by Mr. Traver. Any further debate on that? Traver.
Oh, sorry, I was walking.
All right, let's vote on now. All in favor, say aye.
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 Any abstentions? Ayes have it. I'm getting Dr. Avery on now. Keep your list. The next item is discussion and possible action on creation of talking points regarding the budget public hearing in Hartford. And Dr. Avery is joining our meeting
Coffee.
soon,
Thursday, 3 o'clock.
Thursday at 3:00.
Hearings.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. Okay, so there's a, I'll just give the background on it. Do you want to give some background and then we'll get the talking points?
So Thursday's the 21st.
Wednesday at 3 o'clock, you have to apply. Oh, have a seat there or here, either way.
Yeah, just go. Dr. Avery. Just back to your point, so, just a background, there is a public hearing for this, appropriation. In the appropriations committee of the state legislature, they're going to be discussing the governor's budget, and the focus that on Thursday's meeting is education. The public hearing is at 3 p.m. And there's still time to sign up. I believe, Dr. Avery has, I believe Dr. Avery has posted that on the website and on the Facebook page, so you can sign up through the link there. And today, he's just gonna give some talking points that we can all be consistent with, and
I have also signed up to give testimony virtually. It will be easier for me to kind of get, there's so many things going on, so making sure that I can testify. So I'm still working on my testimony right now, but what I've done tonight is kind of went through, to kind of make sure that we can have the board and community have some talking points to be able to, you know, if anyone else decides to go up to do testimony or put in a written testimony, we can assist with that. My office will be willing to sit and visit with anyone that would like to do that as well. So if you feel comfortable coming up and visiting with one of my staff, we'll be able to kind of work through some of that as well. I do have some additional data points that are not going to be, I'm not going to go through all of them tonight, but I can add some things to the testimony. Needs to be a little bit different, you know, if you can, but highlighting the biggest parts of what we're trying to get additional funding for. The number one thing is the special education costs. That is going to be a huge thing that I think our district could benefit from based on, you know, the amount of the money that needs to be reallocated to districts that are servicing special education children. I was just looking through some of the data points today, and we serve about over 19,000 students, and 50% of the students that we serve are either special ed and bilingual. So that's almost 10,000 students with either a special needs or bilingual services that we have to serve. And so with that being said, there's a lot of integral additional services that we need to be able to provide children with that disability or with that language barrier, that we have to be able to do things different. And being a large urban school district, again, that compounds the need for additional funding that we truly need to be able to fight for the children of Bridgeport Public Schools. just going through a couple of points for, for the community and for the board. The significance of Bridgeport to Connecticut. I think, Bridgeport is one of the largest and most historical, significant cities, serving a major economic and cultural hub in the state of Connecticut. I think that's important. And as a cornerstone of the Connecticut economy, the quality of Bridgeport public school education is vital not only to the city's future, but the overall state prosperity. And I think that's important for this community to really stand proud about. I mean, being the largest school district in Connecticut, and making sure that we have a vital impact to the economy of Connecticut. I think that's important for this community to understand. The challenges of being underfunded in the state of Connecticut is a huge piece for the Bridgeport Public Schools. We've had a long-standing systemic underfunding, leaving students, educators, administrators grappling with inadequate resources in this community. Bridgeport is currently underfunded by approximately $19 million for every $1,000 of the net current expenditure per pupil it does not receive. If Bridgeport received the same funding as Hartford, its budget would increase by over $100 million. And that's massive. And that's important for the community to go and advocate for. The impact of students and educators with this lack of funding. Bridgeport, again, we have a population of over 19,704 students. That's 19.4% of those students are special ed. 31.2 are part of the bilingual student population in the district. Again, so I think we have to be able to advocate for those families that can't advocate for themselves. And we, as a public school system, we should be able to do that for them. So the big call to action is to invest in Bridgeport Public Schools. I urge the community to act decisively to ensure that Bridgeport Public Schools receive the necessary resources. We as a district will be able to equip you with the voice and the data sources to be able to do that advocacy for us. Adequate funding is essential for not just Bridgeport, but the whole state of economy of the Connecticut economy and growth of the whole entire state. So it's important that we fight for the future of our kids. I think we have the ability to unite. I think the community is really wanting to get together and advocate. I know we have several board members that's going to go up to Hartford to advocate for those funds as well. And so we're looking forward to joining forces with community partners, the city, the delegate, really trying to advocate for those fundings. So I think that's important. So again, I'll turn it back over to you for any questions.
Sullivan.
Yeah.
Oh, Mr. Whitehead, sorry.
Like I don't have, but the only thing that I didn't hear, and I hear anybody talking about, and me and Trevor used to have this conversation, is the formula that how all the cities receive their money. We had an equal formula. Like if we should try to advocate for all the districts that are underfunded, because then that would make it seem like if we're a team, if we're going as a team, like we talked about before.
Yep.
And so we should bring up all the underfunded districts like Fort Berry. I mean, everybody knows if you go. I mean, if you compare to Greenwich and all those schools like that, like I said, if we can get a steady formula where everybody can get at least 15,000 or 17, what is Greenwich get, 18,000 or what?
Well, I'm not sure exactly what they get, but when you look at the excess cost reimbursement, we should be receiving about 91 to 93% for excess costs. We are only getting 64% currently. And so that's a big discrepancy, but that's almost $8 to $9 million that we have to pay for that excess cost for serving special education students in this district. So if the state took 91% of that cost, we would be getting some additional dollars that we wouldn't have to pay. So that $10 million, nest egg there that we're having to come out of pocket for to support these children. If they fund us at least that 91%, that's about $8 to $10 million in additional funding that we will get that we're not getting. So those are the things that we're advocating for, is to shift those, shift that, excess cost piece, in addition to changing the formula for, how the special education is funded. That's a whole different number of how much each individual kid that is a special ed kid gets, that adds to the dollar amount the total dollar amount that the district will receive. So those are the things that we're going to, in my testimony, I've got some real key points of advocacy that I will bring out, to make sure that anybody else that's actually talking, we have the same message of the things that we're asking funding for. In addition to, we have a teacher shortage, looking at, advocating for additional dollars for funding, being able to pay teachers to come in to teach those children as well.
Like we had some of the Gadsden who was speaking about, who's advocating for police, so like the police come over and we can discounts on housing and stuff like that. Stuff that we could use for stuff like that too.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Wilson, for bringing up Greenwich, because that's one of my points as well. That's Hartford's a little tricky when we compare, because Hartford got the Sheffers O'Neill settlement and kind of muddies the water a little. So but as far as that, I do like the comparison with Greenwich, especially since the governor is from Greenwich, and it's approximately, I think, $26,000 or $27,000 per student, about a $9,000 spread between the money spent.
So is it based on income or I know property values?
Property values, which are restricted for a whole other conversation of redlining. And
It's currently right now, we, per pupil, expenditures, we get like $16,700.
Oh, from this.
Hartford gets 22,634. So just in those comparisons, we get less money.
Yeah,
per pupil.
absolutely. Yeah,
It gets money because of Chef.
right.
They won a case that we lost later when we attempted to do that legal fight.
Yes.
And we lost that about 10, 15 years ago to try and spread
And
Chef.
we get the magnet school, a lot
Well,
as well.
That's the Chef.
That kind of makes it, supersized of what we're getting as well.
Back to I just wanted to bring up that Greenwich,
Like that, well, the Greenwich thing says that we would be getting, if we got the Greenwich,
That's
we'd get 150 million.
Yeah, see, I like that number even better.
Right.
Okay, now back to the points. I like the special education thing, definitely, but I do believe we need to add a little bit to it. The special education, $40 million is not kicking in until year 2 of the biennial budget.
And that's the governor's proposed budget as we see it. That special ed allotment doesn't come until 2027,
Right.
instead of next year.
Correct. And 14, I believe, the 14 is, the excess cost is immediate, but it's insufficient. Points we gotta hit is this: 1, it's insufficient. 2, it doesn't hit until next year. Another point that we haven't raised yet, all the governor's proposed budget flat funds us in 2027.
Mhm.
That means a 0% increase in a district that has at least $10 to $12 million in
Yeah.
increased cost every single year.
Fixed costs.
Fixed cost.
Fixed
costs.
every single year, $10 to $12 million. Employee raises, health insurance, amongst other things, transportation costs. And to bring that home, what does that mean? That means additional cuts after the bloodbath we're going to incur this year and next year. So as we're finally getting on our feet, we think we're done. No, we got to hit another $10 to $12 million in cost. And to that end, to highlight that, I would like to see the old chart all the cuts, the 231. I'm sure you've seen it before. If you haven't, I could send it to you. When we had over 231 cuts.
Send it to me.
Yeah, from 2016 or 15 to 2019, where we lost 231 positions. And then we paused only because of ESSER funding we were able to stave layoffs from 1920 years, 2021, 22, and now we're back right where we started making those cuts. So it's not only the 231 cuts, it's what we got proposed so far, 80 odd positions, so we're at 311 cuts to the class of 300 for the past time. So that's another thing, and let's see.
So is everybody getting flat funded in the 26?
Everybody's flat funded in 2017, so that's something every district that receives state funding could rally around. As well, that's a good, I like rallying cries, that's a good point. Getting things that people could rally on, the ECS absolutely needs to be increased in the year 2. At least by as much as year 1.
Yeah.
And the special education, every district suffers from special education mandates and needs and a moral obligation to service special education. And to that end also, we'd like to see, we got 17, I think he said 17% special education. The amount of the budget that they consume for those 17% is disproportionate. I'm sure, I think it's 45 to 27.
It's a third.
It's a third.
Right.
So
So
you're talking 17% of the students consume a third of the budget.
It's like in that, did we talk about what the governor said a couple weeks ago, like the $50 million he said for the 5 districts?
Yeah, that's the
Yeah.
46.
That was what we said.
Right, that's what we pushed on.
That's what the 5 Mary.
And that's what the 5 mayors and five superintendents, it's pushing the governor to be able to do. Because if we get that amount of money, then that's gonna better suit us as we move forward as a largest school district.
You misquoted it though. What they pushed was, they said 550 million, half for the 5 cities. So that would be 200, I'm rounding the numbers, but that'd be about 250 million for the 5 cities. So that'd be 50 for us, just doing rough math. You know, really, that's really rough math. But that, and if we got 50 million, what would we be having? Right?
But then the next year was like they went
Well,
back.
they just, if we did that each year.
But that just means he might be expecting us to do something special with the money rather than,
Right, and then
We'll get there.
And that goes to something that comes every budget cycle. What are you gonna do with the money you get us right now, today? If we got 26, if they drop $26 million in our laps right today, what will we do with it? Not one extra thing. We probably preserve everything that we got.
Absolutely.
So when we can't add one dish, we gotta emphasize that because that's a talking point they use every year to count us. If we give you an extra $27 million, what are you gonna do? We need 26. Well, we could add 4 teachers. 4 teachers, no, we gotta fill the hole first and then we add the extra service. And that's something that's just trouble to make people understand every single budget cycle.
Absolutely. And I think that's, for most school districts, they try to look at that, but then you start, figuring out exactly what are the other needs that's happening, then you have to kind of be able to kind of shift from there. So, but again, it's a matter of the board guidance, the superintendent asking the board what needs to happen in the boards. There's stop dates there at every step of the way. So it's a joint effort between how administration and board figures out the need, and then being able to allocate those needs based accordingly what you can afford.
Absolutely. And like 90% of us arguing is basically over lack of money and what to do with that money. So the state is complicit in things that are going on in these districts. And, and one final point, you triggered this one by saying equal math. Equitable math. Just because it's $250,000, $250 million or $40 million.
Didn't try to do it.
It needs to be done equitably. We've got more students, we've got more excess costs in special education, so we should have the biggest portion of that. We have the biggest portion, it should be proportional to our needs. Between that $40 million split between 169 districts straight down the middle.
I did not try and do that.
How many speakers are going?
I did rough. Well,
I just said you raised my thoughts, that's fine.
no,
He's going up there.
Next.
I'm speaking.
Oh, you going up there?
I gotta use the restroom. All I did was say that's the rough math is divided by five.
I did, thank you.
We are the largest number and that's not even correct. 550, if we took half of 550 is not 250, is 275. Dividing that by 5 is not. So it was very rough math, rough, not equitable. But I have said this to you multiple times, so I'm going to start with that. I have been upset that we have not started with ECS, that you continue to lead with SPED. And SPED is not the majority of our students. Majority of our students, you just laid it out. Half our students, you said, are SPED or MLL, multi-language learners. The other half are normal city kids, and they need help too. And so, you know, the ECS problem is still a problem. And that needs to be addressed and that's going to be, I'm with you on SPED and multi-language learners. One of the problems of multi-language learners is there's no mandates there. I know when I was teaching, one of the biggest complaints of the bilingual teachers was anytime something else had to be done, they got yanked from their kids. And they got yanked into translating in the office. They got yanked into administering tests. Instead of teaching their kid, they got yanked into other responsibilities because theirs was not a mandated obligation by law in this state. So that's a problem on multiple fronts. So you know, and that's a real problem. I mean, I'm not trying to minimize it. That is a real problem because those kids need those additional services that those teachers are trying to provide. So in the greater scheme of things, what we're seeking to do is provide the education to our kids, all of our kids, special ed, multi-language learners, and just the plain old kids that they deserve. And we're not able to because we don't have the resources to provide what those kids all deserve. And that's the argument that I want to make in Hartford on Thursday, and again, when there's an education committee hearing, and again, whenever we have another hearing on this. But first one up is appropriations, and that's where they divvy up the money and, you know, start talking about the money. Right.
And so I would appreciate, you said you've got some, you know, better detailed information that if you can send that out to us tonight, so that I can pick and choose some information I want to use in the arguments that I know I'm going to make. I know what happens to me in these things. You sign up to speak. My wife was number 32 today. She waited 6 hours for her turn. I have been number 230 and waited 10 to 15 hours for my turn and testified in the wee hours of the morning. These things and so we wait and you wait. So we'll have our turns. And I know what happens to me is whatever I have written, I have modified 10 times listening to other idiots say stupid things that piss me off. I know where I'm going, that anger me because they're saying things that are not fair or correct. But we're there to argue for our children and our children deserving things so that they have the same opportunities as other children in our state. And for the reasons that Mr. Woodson said a moment ago, correctly, our children deserve. And we have a state where the children that are primarily non-white in our cities get a different level of educational opportunity as the children that are mostly white in the non-cities. We need to correct that. And that's what we're fighting for. And the surplus, every time I've talked about it, has gone up more. It's now up to $5.5 billion. And so the governor, who lectured us about what we're not doing and told us that money doesn't fix all problems, you know, we'd like an opportunity to see if it fixes all problems. So you're Mr. Governor, give us a chance to see the kind of money that you have in your town. And there's a significant population of poor people in Greenwich. There are a number of public housing projects in Greenwich. There's the really rich people in Greenwich send their kids to very private schools. So, you know, there is a population there that deserves what, but I just would like to change to see that kind of money spent on our children. And then we would have smaller class sizes. We would have
the interventionists for academic intervention, the tutors. We would have the interventionists for social intervention, the counselors and the other people. We'd have the multi-language learners, and we'd have the funded mandate of special ed so that we could do what we want to do with the kids that have those special ed needs. And that's what we'd like to see someday, so that that school that we walked through for the cave breakfast lobby, we could have schools like that when we get the presentation of the facility. So I mean, that's what we strive to have. But the first thing we got to do is balance the budget and maintain the status quo. But once we maintain the status quo, we actually want to improve on that so that our children begin to see the opportunities that present themselves, because we know that our children can do as well as any other child in the state if they're given the chance, and we want to give them that chance.
Let me clarify. I want to make sure that I'm, you know, very, you know, pointed in my words. You know, we're fighting for all kids. You know, we're fighting for every single kid, the 19,000 plus kids in Bridgeport, to make sure when we get those dollars, we can allocate those dollars to best fit the needs of the children that we serve. And so you're going to have kids that are going to hit 2 or 3 different of those titles. You may have a regular ed kid that may have a small disability. You may have a regular ed kid that may have a language barrier. So they cross-pollinate between the two in some instances.
As you saw at the cave breakfast, special ed is a hot button issue this year. And the governor's responsive to it because you're hearing it from suburban districts too. And they're all complaining about it too, because it's an unfunded mandate. So he's responding to them and us. We want to make sure that our non-special ed kids, we get some response there too. And so what y'all did with the 5 school districts going up to Hartford saying, you know, we have this inequitable situation in Connecticut where we have I mean, we really do. That's the funny thing about Connecticut is if you take out the urban communities, and there are a few rurals in there, and I don't mean to ever ignore them, and I will always include them, that are just as poor as our urbans. But if you take them out of the testing, which I don't support testing as a measurement, but if you take them out of the formula, Connecticut's suburban communities provide one of the best educations in the world. The test scores in the suburban districts are up there with Finland and Singapore and all the other, you know, sort of considered best districts in the world, educations in the world. And you know, that's the problem. When we say public education is failing, and it's not failing in Darien and in New Canaan, those places, they're providing an A1 first-class education. We're the ones that need to up our game. And we can't up that game until you provide us the resources. And the state has the money now to provide those resources. So pony up and see some money so that we can up the game for our kids, so they have the same opportunities as your kids. And that's really what a variation on that message has to be driven home from us and hopefully the other urban areas, so that we have that unified message Mr. Woodson was talking about up in Hartford, from our mayors, from our superintendents, from our boards, so that that message gets delivered. It's time to have that equitable funding, for special ed, for ECS, for all of these programs.
Mr. Woodson, you had something earlier. I think you asked if who's going up on Thursday.
Oh, yeah.
I've signed up to testify. I'm going.
Because we don't, like they said, we don't want 20 different messages, and people, boring the people up there. And I understand citizens got, they pay taxes and stuff like that, but like I said, we want to keep our message and for the people up there. Ain't nothing we can do about it. But
What I'll do is once I get my testimony, hopefully by tomorrow, I can send it to the boards and you don't have, because I'm gonna submit written, but I'm also going to be live as well, and whoever else, because it may help you to add to your testimony as well with some factual pieces.
You can submit written testimony until.
If you want them to get it in their packets, they get given a packet. before the hearing. If
Yeah.
you want it in the packet
Tomorrow by 3.
tomorrow by 3. If you want, they will, if you deliver it, I believe I'm guessing on this. Thursday morning, if you submit it by a certain time, they will get it given to the committee. They're less likely to read it. I don't know whether they read it. Some read it, some don't. If you deliver it by 3 tomorrow, it depends on the person.
Yeah, just if you can sign up for, testimony, it's hybrid, and so you do it on Zoom. You can't make it up to Hartford that day. And I think you said you're going?
Well, I signed up to speak. I'm not going there and speaking, but I think Joe had his hand up.
Oh, and you wanted to talk. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah,
That's what
I may go up, depends on my list number. If I'm like, if I'm 300 on the list, I'll be testifying for my
My
meeting.
understanding that there's a window for like public officials, board members, superintendents. I got an email from state organization that says, I think it's 4:30 to 3:30 to 4:30 is an hour time. You know, I'm just saying, I mean, this is the first time I've done it here in Connecticut, so I don't know, but they said that they're gonna keep that time slot for superintendents and things.
So, yeah, but bar that, Mr. Woodham's point, I'm not sure if you were trying to say, that they don't want to hear the same thing, but, think about going to Hartford. You see Hartford, you see the lobbyists from various places. They're all packed behind their superintendent, they're packed behind their board members. Everybody stands up and speaks at once. And their delegates, they take notice. Their delegates respond to them, and their delegates advocate harder for them. Our delegate, we just recently went to a cave retreat. Right at not a cave retreat, legislative breakfast, I'm sorry. And 2 or 3 legislators. Where's Bridgeport? Only 2 gave their excuses. Our delegation doesn't show up because we don't put the pressure as Bridgeport on them. We keep putting them in their seat without accountability. And Hartford sees this, and they see Bridgeport after seeing like even 3 or 4 different charter schools having 10 times having 10 times the people there. I mean, if we can't be there, we can testify online. Even testifying online, seeing Bridgeport.
Yeah.
They'll be like, whoa, Bridgeport is waking up. Bridgeport's not playing anymore with this inequity. Because we're all sleeping right now. Everybody's focused on federal Trump and the disparities and inequity of the possibility in the country. We've been in that class war in Connecticut with a tale of 2 cities, a tale of 2 states. So it's the more people we got, the better. If they hear the same message over and over again, so be it a consistent message, and then they may start moving.
Can I make a recommendation? I think one of the things, especially if you're gonna advocate, being able, I mean, you guys have a lot of experience in being able to go to Hartford and do it. Can we kind of rally and either train us on what to do to kind of get the information out? I mean, we started doing a little bit of that, but I like, you know, where you said if you got Bridgeport right behind each other, or we go up together and stand together to get the message out.
Right.
Just being a little bit more, you know, pointed in making that happen. And let's kind of, you know,
Absolutely.
let's kind of work together and getting that done.
Yeah.
With my staff and the board and community.
We just got hit with such a compressed timeline.
This is like the regular legislative day.
Yes, every year. So it should be, we can plan something like on the finance committee. Did I go?
No, go ahead. Look, that's a good idea.
Right, we can plan something on time, make it part of the timeline, make it part of regular standing agenda item, advocacy planning for Hartford could take place. Final problem with the committees is we change committees in December, January. So we get that period of time in December and January where there's oftentimes no meeting, which is the least amount of time that we could afford to lose it because we're going into budget season, especially in the biennium. So this year was a little compounded with the cuts we got to make from last year and everything, try to bring everything into today. So we're just now getting the budget out. In a normal year with no pressures, budget's usually out late December, early January. And we got the, looking at now, at least we got numbers, we know what numbers we need if we want to stay maintained this year. So a step ahead, so, but I went around your question, I'm sorry, I didn't get to the.
But I want to know, how is our communication with our representatives? Like, when we go up there, we're gonna be able to, are they gonna advocate for us while we're there so we can see them advocate? I mean,
You won't see it when you're up there for a hearing, you won't see it per se. You may, if we went up to do a lobby day or something, but
That's good.
Lily was ahead of me.
Yeah, I'm gonna get to, before speaking of lobbying, Cape has a lobby day for us, March 11th, I believe it is. Well, March 12th, 9 to 11, they're gonna do a legislative agenda first, and then there's time where you can meet with the if we as a group decide to go up, and we can really maybe have a sit down with our, reach out to our legislators that day, and
because they're not doing.
we can have that sit down with them. And
It depends on which one you're talking.
yeah, so I think, we can, if we can, you can register for that online at Cave, the Cave website, but if we can go up there and maybe spend some time, saying, hey, we want to meet with the delegation.
They need his advice.
And if we're going up there with Dr. It's like half of us going up there with Dr. David, and, and show the point, because something that, we really need to do is like, we're standing with each other on this, like we need funding. We get to Willie and then Ms. Medina.
Just wondering if, and I pass this around to people, is there any bills? I know nowhere in your statement did you mention anything about the guardrails, and that's one of the big things that some of the other organizations are hitting, that we have that, now my colleague said over 5 billion, but the last number that I got was $4.1 billion that is sitting in this, guardrail, this thing, and we're trying to get them to ease off of that to help out in this. And like you said, Connecticut is one of the few states that don't have a separate special education funding. And I think that needs to get fixed. Somebody needs to, kind of like throw it out there at them, because we don't have other states in the country. We're one of the few. Connecticut is one of the few in the whole country that don't have a separate fund. And they keep on saying, do this. You're required to do this. You pay for it. And that's what we've been stuck in, some of the issue. Yeah, mandate, and they're not funding it. And how can they do that? We need to really call them out.
Like you said, they got all of the other districts are doing good. It's only papers that are doing bad.
No, but they're in the same, they're in the same boat as we are, though. They're not getting the money that they need, because they're saying, do this. You need to now educate these 5-year-old kids. Watch this. This is one of the things. You have to educate these new kids. But then they give any extra funding to make sure that we get classrooms. And now we got to figure out our building. We got to get classrooms. Now they're saying, okay, the classroom got to be this size and that size. Not only that, some things that people might not be aware of. Playgrounds have to be designed specifically for those age groups. They can't play with the playgrounds that they have to be, according to the law, enclosed. And those mandates are not being funded by them. They're saying, do this, but they're not giving us the money to do that kind of stuff. So they have $4.1 billion in this guardrail. And I believe now, as my colleague said, he believes that it went up to 5 billion already. And they're not
5.5.
utilizing it correctly. Now, my question to Ms. Avery in this thing, are you tied? Did you find out if they need bills? Because I got some bills for you to look up to see if you can tie it into your thing. I know there's a SB 922. There's a H, which is house, HB 6752. There's also two that most likely are going to join together, HB 5968 / the 5771. And they're talking about revenue sharing and making sure that the corporation and the wealthy are paying more, that we can have more for education, more for other things, because that whole thing. So just look at the bills that people are talking on. This is what's going on there. These are other organizations that I'm involved with that are talking about it. You guys get 3 minutes to speak if you guys don't know. You get 3 minutes to speak. That's no time. It really does. It really does.
It goes on real fast.
But it's just some of the things that I don't know if we have any bills that we're looking at that we can tie in that we're tying into to when we speak, that, you know, this is what we support these bills, because they're working in the favor of education when you guys are not focused on education, meaning that's. So I just wanted to ask if there was anything, but you guys can do your research, and that's just a few that I got from some people.
Mr. Chamber.
Yeah, I really makes an excellent point about if there is specific legislation we can tie it to. Truth be told, Willie, I
39.
think it was when I met with Fairfax myself that I was still using the $4.5 billion figure. And Jamila corrected me and said it's at 5 now. And then just recently I was told 5.5. So it just keeps going up. And you remember the governor was told 4 weeks ago that the state found out they had made $340 million in interest on the ESSER funds that they were holding. Oh, that 340 million should be going to the schools because that was education ESSER money that the state was holding. So that's 340 million that should go to education. So that's another source of money that should go out there. So he, you know, and the governor himself, I don't remember, I think it was I'm sorry, my brain's letting me down right now. But one of the bills he started pushing in his, I don't think it was his original budget presentation, but shortly thereafter, one of the initiatives he's pushing, I think it's the daycare one. He admitted that he wanted to bend the guardrails. He used that term. He's going to bend the guardrails to fund it. Now, the guardrails were put into effect to stop us from implementing any new taxes on the wealthy. We need a 60% vote. That's the guardrail to tax the rich. We need a 60% vote to take money from that $5.5 billion surplus. He proposed bending, the Republicans had a fit that he was going to be bending the guardrails. So he's proposing to bend it for this one purpose. So we need to push harder, you know, and 2 years ago, nobody was talking about the guardrails. Now we're talking about it. As that presenter we brought to Housatonic said, is we've changed the talk. In Hartford, nobody was talking about the guardrails. Now everybody's talking about bend the guardrails. And that's what we need to do, you know, bend the guardrails, pay for the things. We're in a position. Now, the Trump stuff is messing people up. They're all nervous about Washington. I get it. But we got to push. Well, this is a unique opportunity and we need to push for it. And if you can get, you know, Constance to tell us that there's a bill, we don't have a lobbyist. Well, we'll see. I'll ask Katie to see if she's got some touch up there that can tell us if there's a bill. We can check with CEA.
I'm meeting with Constance tomorrow.
Yeah, Constance doesn't always push what we want, so we need to push her about it. Katie can inquire up there. I know Anthony's over there. And check with us too, Anthony and Danielle. But Katie can check with sources in Hartford too. And we can check with CEA between you and me to see what they can tell us about it. So we have ways to check what's up there and being pushed around about legislation. As to testimony, one of the best things you need to do in your time is personalize your message. Your experience at growing up in Bridgeport, that has to be woven into your message. Whether it's growing up and going to schools or having kids in the schools and seeing the things that you've seen, whether it's my experience as parents, you know, you have to weave in your own personal message experience into your testimony and why it's important to you. And that always got to be a part of what message you testify for and why our kids deserve justice, equity, with some good facts and hopefully some bills on it.
With Albert's permission, went to something else to give you an example of what they do with underfunding, not funding in fiscal year 2024 in the ECS grant. they underfunded by $79.4 million in their own grant that they made a plan to pay, but they underfunded by $79.4 million.
It's not fully funded. It.
Those are facts.
Mr. Benham, and then
I guess I want to circle and say about, some of the people say Bridgeport, and they trust me, they love that. When they go to Cape, when we go to training, they say, oh, Bridgeport is in the house. They know we're not late. So when they say Bridgeport, it's there, they know we want answer, we want help, we want to work together. And also, Dr. you said to go as a team and employ your staff, because your staff work very hard. Without them, we don't have no meetings, and they know what's going on in our district. So it's very good. Then they come to us, of course, with the permission and the protocol and everything has to be. I would love to see them then with us too, because without them, we don't have any meetings. We don't have what we have. So there will be. We think that's all you and you. Now I will tell you, you're not alone. So it is good when we ask to show up. They want to see us. Trust me, they're very happy when they say Bridgeport there. No, trust me, Mr. Woodson, they love to see us.
yeah.
They say they know we don't play and we want the best for our children. So
And I gotta say, our state senators right now are doing a heck of a job for us. I think, Senator Gaston and Senator, John Woodson, the new one, are both, huh? I'm sorry. Woodson, I'm talking to you. Both doing a good job. And, I'm trying to set up a meeting with Andre over Frankie's for our district. And if I do, I'll let you know.
I'm kind of said thing that for you guys, with those two senators.
Well, I've been talking to Jen one time about trying to have a delegation meeting for us. And I think that we need to still do that, even if it's not, for a few weeks. We do still want to have a meeting with them at some point in March, to talk about things that are going on up there as a delegation. To meet down here if we have a camp on Saturday morning. Just to say, look, guys, this stuff we need your help. It's not some. I think that, we need to get, because I remember. Felipe saying. He was wandering a school down the Gold Coast. I don't remember which one. But he was saying, I want our kids to have something like this. It was the same thing we ran into at that cave thing. And I said, I said, he was quoted in the paper saying that. And it's like, yeah, that's what we want.
Any further special discussion? You're gonna send us information tomorrow? The talking question?
Yes, I'll get,
Data facts, whatever.
I'll get a lot more together. They've worked on a few things, but there's not a lot of factual things in it. So I'm gonna have them go back in and put a little bit more into the numbers. Some of the yearly projections of how we've increased, and you can see some of I have some documents that kind of tie into it as well. So we'll get some out, probably after lunch tomorrow.
We have to have our testimony.
I'll work on it pretty good. We'll work on it for you.
Yeah.
They're listening, so I'll have them. We'll get it. So I'll shoot for 10:30 for you.
We're gonna put the point, excuse me,
Parents,
the same.
Put them online. I have a couple of testimony. I did a couple of different testimony that's submitted for special ed. I'm working on my testimony for Thursday. It's real. It's just you have to you do it, and you have to redo it. You have to redo it because you don't have much time. So sometimes I read, it takes me a little bit of time to get my point across. So I'm trying to kind of, make it 3 minutes worthy. So it's like, it probably doesn't work, but I'll have to try.
We'd like to take this opportunity to thank you for moving so quickly on this issue. I know there's a lot of time pressures that we don't have. That we didn't have a lot of time to get things done. Probably we could do it a little slower next time with less time constraints, but awesome job on the next conditions.
And if there's any additional things, once I'll get the talking points out that you want to add to it, just shoot me your points and then I can pull them all together. If you have a few things overnight, you're thinking, hey, you may want to add these to your point, and then I can do those as well. So feel free, that don't hurt my feelings. Compile it, the more in depth, points we can make, better.
Right, yeah, just a word of caution, anybody sends you a number or something, myself included,
Got it.
verify. Verify. If I tell them we got $2 million last year, we got 6, it makes them a liar, it makes the district a liar, so just verify any.
That's what staff did for me today. The finance department did for me today. I wanted to see historical trends of how much money or how much increases we made, be it student population, be it funding, be it transportation. I have all of that. I just got it this afternoon. That's why I'm not giving you the details, because I want to make sure I can do my facts checking as well before I make them public. And so, but I'll make sure I get that. So if you give me something, I'm gonna go back and check my numbers. Because I have a couple of different documents, all finance, budgetary things that I'll check based on my numbers. So I won't let you put anything out there that's not.
Last thought, what Andre said is correct, which is that press conference that you and the mayors, y'all and the mayors did. Was powerful.
That, and we're still pretty connected. They're the 5 largest school districts, and so we're staying on top of the push. And if we need to kind of revisit that again, I'm gonna put a little bit more of that into my talking point as well. But I think, like you said, it's powerful. Very powerful.
The truth is, we got the majority, we have the majority. They just do a lot of bargaining.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, we just gotta make a good point to prove to the program.
I get you.
Actually, I think they do, but once powerful coalition.
Yeah, you're right.
When we work together, we can move mountains. If we don't forget those 4 rural districts, we might even pull in a few rural districts to help us too, because there are some 4 rural districts that are also, getting screwed by this system. Motion to adjourn.
There's a motion to adjourn.
I saw her look at her watch.
Have a good
Yeah.
night.